Hello, and welcome to the daily political tarot readings here on the Black and Orange channel. Thank you so much for being here. I am here 365 days of the year, although of course it is the week before Christmas is less than a week away. Let's put it that way. So I'm so grateful you are here. Thank you for being here. And if you can hear any music in the background here for just a second, if anybody remembers, there was a particular piece of music I used to use for my intro, my opening of my videos. It was by Aaron Kenny, and so is this. Anyway, it's lovely. All right, maybe it's a little Hallmark Christmas movie, but that's okay. Anyway, no, it's lovely. So 10% of all of my Black and Orange income goes to feedingamerica.org, which supplies food to food banks across the country. That's an ongoing thing. And we have epic troll slayers who keep us safe. Thank you. Thank you. All right, if you're watching this on replay, hello. You can go down into the description box and you can you'll see all the questions listed out, and I'll timestamp them as I go. What are you playing? Wait, what are you playing? I didn't ask you to play anything. Shh. Shh. What was this? Okay, we'll just let me just close that before I get myself into trouble. All right, so anyway, I'm here to take your questions. You can see things are timestamped in the description box, and it's kind of first come, first serve. There's some things I don't read on. I've either covered them recently, or maybe it's a little dark for me, or I don't know. But there's usually a reason, and I'll usually tell you what it is. So. There's also been an ongoing question, a repeated question about is there a link between lawmakers who may have been involved in the January 6th insurrection and those who went to Russia? And I've had this question repeatedly, which I so appreciate your questions. I only have 8 today, by the way. You've only given me 8, but that particular question I have read on, and I think I would have to maybe break it down into exactly who it was, and I'm not sure, but I've read on it, and it didn't feel like there was going to be a direct correlation. Is that particular list of people, are they going to be found, every single one, to have been involved? I'd have to work my way down the list that way. So I don't know that the question really would be, were the insurrectionists working for Russia? I think might be the question, but I've never picked up on that either. I get more of the useful idiots type thing. So I don't know that I can really answer that one. And this is so bright, but that's so dark. All right, is there anything I can do here? No, I know what I can do. I can do that. So now we're good. Okay. I can't find the names. I'm sure we'll work something out. I'm here every day, and we look at these people all the time. So, and thank you for coming. For those of you who came out last night to Johnny's channel, Tarot's Apprentice, where we were talking about ego and YouTube and being on YouTube. We didn't do readings. It was just a discussion, and I got to meet some wonderful people, and Jace and Pat, and it was just really fascinating. And I also started realizing that maybe I think about things a little differently, which wouldn't be the first time in my life. Doesn't mean I'm right, but then again, I have Uranus the Rebel in my 5th house, which is what you create. And yeah, you know me. Little off the beaten path. All right. Okay, so we do have a couple of questions coming in now. Let me see if I can grab these, because the last one I have here is the prosecution of goodness gracious, prosecution resting on the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. JR was asking about that. So that was number 8. Janelle has a great question. We grabbed that. Were Boebert and Greene working directly with Trump? And I saw something else down here. Hello, Kylo. Thank you, Danielle. And hello, Alicia. Maria has a question. How come the DOJ Merrick is so afraid to prosecute orange poop pants Trump scum? I love this. Maria says, hello, everybody. Blessings. Sweet autumn. How come DOJ Merrick Garland is so afraid to prosecute the orange poop pants Trump scum? I'm reading on that just because I like the word. Okay. Sherry's giving food to food banks. Excellent. Thank you for and not everybody can. I understand. But if you do, thank you. If you can, thank you. If you do, thank you. Oh, yeah. Don Gubb. Rick Perry sent the here's what to do to make Trump win memo. Any ramifications? Oh, my gosh. The best argument ever that wearing glasses did not make you smart. And Hippie Sue is asking, is Barr being investigated by Garland? Okay, so I've got my 12 questions for today. There's another question from Danielle about the Dominion lawsuit and all the money and Murdoch and all of this. And I'm actually going to save that for tomorrow, but I'm going to save it. I'm going to grab this. So, and I'm going to say in the description box, it will say tomorrow. There we go. So, because I've got my 12 for today. All right, so I've got my questions. Thank you. All right, and let's just start at the top and work our way through. Okay. And if it gets really, really dark and horrible, I'll put the Aaron Kenny Christmas song back on. Oh, Dan Rather, you are a national treasure. Yes, Christmas. All right, so Dan Rather tweeted, DeJoy to the world, you will not get your Christmas gifts on time. Oh, Dan Rather, he's great. So I wanted to have a quick look at, since we are less than a week away from Christmas, the U.S. Postal Service Christmas. Let's have a quick look, starting at about 8:30. All right. Thank you for being here. Happy holidays, everybody. All right. The joy to the world. God bless you, Dan Rather. All right, U.S. Postal Service Christmas. It's amazing. It's amazing how hard people are working. And thank you to all of our postal workers out there. Thank you. You do hard, heavy work, and we are grateful. We are grateful. Thank you. Judgment. Little kids. That's the thing. DeJoy. Things that are not getting through the mail are kids' toys too. Things for kids. You're messing up children's Christmases so you can line your pockets. If that it's you're Scrooge McGrinch. That's who you are. You are Scrooge McGrinch, and you should be ashamed of yourself. And I hope that money that you get for hurting children, for ruining Christmases, for doing all this damage, I hope that money never gives you a moment's peace or moment's pleasure. That's my opinion. Chris Wickens is saying DeJoy needs to be into jail. I agree. It's not in all caps, but Aspie Third Eye saying destroy, not allowing hiring of new postal workers. My poor post people are having to work 12 to 14-hour days just to deliver the mail. But I like that, destroy. Capital D-E, capital S-T-R. Oh, my. Oh, yeah, knocking everything down. Because he makes money from when other mail service things improve. How is that legal? Have a good day, Mandy. Yeah, hamstringing. But it's still going to be it's still going to be a good celebration. I mean, it'll still be a good Christmas. I think we're all getting more and more appreciative of simpler things. Sorry, I'm having lighting problems. This clouds are doing weird things. All right, Page of Swords, Queen of. It's going to be. It'll be okay. We'll be okay. But this is what he's done. This is the bullying, the people who've been protecting him. But at the center, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. So, bless you. Absolutely bless you for helping people. You don't realize how. I know. I know it can seem like all you do is deal with, junk mail or customers who aren't happy. I'm sure it seems like that sometimes, but you do such important work. It makes a big difference. It really does. The mail quite literally changes lives. So that's the post office. 3 cards for DeJoy. Destroy. Destroy DeJoy. DeJoy, destroy. Who should be into jail? TikTok. Biden wants him out yesterday. Biden cannot stand him. Not really a shock. You don't need me to tell you that, but poof. Magician. Yeah. He just stood up and ding. We're getting someone new in there. We're getting someone in there who cares about the post office, about yay, instead of standing up to work really hard for their own money, who are part of the Trump cult. New person. Yay. Thank you for being here. So that's good. Okie dokie. Holly and Francis, don't forget the people who get their medication sent through the postal system. It's literally a matter of life and death for them. Exactly. Pamela Bryan says, I have no trouble remembering that awful smirk on his face when he addressed Congress. Oh, yeah, I remember that. He was like, oh, excuse you? Who do you think you are? All right, so let's move on to question number 2 at 15 minutes in. Okay. I must have done something wrong because this isn't the question I remember being here. But I would have looked this up. Representative Peter Defazio is retiring after his term. Will he be replaced by a Democrat, a Republican, or other? I have to look up who that is, I'm afraid. It does help me sometimes a little bit if you guys will let me know, like, what state, what party is that person? What are the poll numbers? I'm not a person, I don't like reading blind. And just because poll numbers are pointing one way or this is the situation doesn't mean that's what's going to happen. But just giving me blind readings, I can see what I can get, but they don't come out as well. So the more information you guys can give me, the better, to be honest. He is representative of Oregon's 4th Congressional District. He is a Democrat. He is 74 years old. He's been a representative since 1987. And he is a part of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. Today he voted in support of the Protecting Our Democracy Act legislation that would rein in presidential abuses of power. I like it. Well, is there any reason why he think he would be replaced by a Republican? He will not run again. He's the longest tenured U.S. House member. And they're saying it's a blow to Democrats. He leads the House's Transportation Committee. He will step down after 36 years in Congress. Why is this a blow to Democrats? His move also comes as Democrats are widely expected to lose the majority in the House in 2022, which is likely to have factored into his decision. He's 74. The man just wants to go home. He underwent back surgery in October. Leaves a hole in the committee. They're not really talking about. They're not really talking about. Well, thank you, Foggy Ozark. Happy holidays. Thank you. Yeah, I'm. Have a look, Peter Defazio. Bless you, sir. Did you work? You're 74. You had back surgery. You want to go home. So, placed by a Democrat, Republican. I saw somebody else sitting down in his chair and just kind of squeaked a little bit, you know, when you throw yourself down too hard on some chairs, some office chairs. And people are like, okay, this is going to take some getting used to because he's been there for so long. I don't think it's a done deal that the House is going to lose their slim majority in the Democrats are going to lose their slim majority in the House. I don't know that that's any kind of done deal. 3 of Wands, 9 of Wands, Queen of Wands, 8 of Swords, Lovers. I'm getting all of the cult members being hemmed in. Okay, but who's going to replace Peter Defazio? Maria, cool looking green nail polish. Oh, thank you. It's actually glitter. And I could have sworn I put a clear coat of nail polish over it so it didn't, don't go like this and it's just raining down bits of glitter on my, tiny bits of glitter on my paper here, but anyway, so that's what that is. That is Christmassy. Yeah, glitter. Just right, I agree. We're not losing the house. Nay. Pamela Bryant says, I agree, neither are we losing the Senate. Charlene says, I think a woman is running for a seat. Okay. Who will replace Peter Defazio? Chariot. More. Six of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles. I'm not getting an answer. I'm just getting all of the legal stuff, massive historic change and legal stuff coming for Congress. Card after card after card, reading after reading. And this is even just getting in front of who's going to take over Peter Defazio's seat. I'm getting the same thing, and it's just getting like louder and louder as it gets closer and closer. Yes, Dan Allshaw. That matches the elf boots. Yes, I like the elf boot. I thought that was cute. I don't know why I'm pulling all these cards. I'm just trying to get an answer. He's not a thief. Ace of Swords, Ten of Swords, Three of Pentacles, Strength, Ten of Pentacles. Is he part of the committee, or is he a vocal? Is he vocal against the insurrectionists? Because this is just more the same. Sword of Truth against the insurrectionists. This was their plan. They talked about it. They're idiots. And the beast is going to be quieted, and this is the Trump dynasty. This is the legacy. And he and other congressional people, this will be their legacy that they were a part of. Even if he's leaving, I would imagine he's leaving at the end of his term, is my guess. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is his legacy, and that's all I'm getting. Over and over and over and over. So, over and over and over. I'll make a note. Huge changes in Congress. Okay. All right, the next question is at 24. Is Letitia James going to follow Newsom's gun laws? What other states are going to join in with Newsom? Excuse me. Boy, it's that kind of day, isn't it? Maria Rodriguez is saying a lot of swords in this reading. Yep, absolutely. So, all right, hang on. Hopefully that's better. Sorry about that. This is going to be more like 25. All right. Is Letitia James going to, and you phrased it as really going to follow Newsom's gun law. Is she talking about it? So Letitia James talking about doing what Newsom has done in California, using the Texas law to say, fine, you go after those rights, we're going to go after gun rights. I think her run for governor, and she wasn't doing so well, and the backlash she got, I think that smarted. I think that hurt. And it's like, but you're not there to be bigger. You're there to do this job. So do this job, and maybe, it'll be an easy step up. But until you do this job, and if you can't do this job, forget it. So, Rhonda Cox, on what is that color on your walls, so I can get my husband to paint our room before the new year? Oh, that's very sweet. I have no idea. My mother actually picked out this color, and it was a long time ago. So I don't know, actually. I can try to find out. I'll check the basement. Maybe there's still a little can of something. Sorry. Letitia James. Oh yeah. This is there are various states who are going to, oh yeah, this is going to be an ongoing thing. And like I said, I believe there's a real possibility that the Supreme Court is going to come down with this idea of, send it back to the states. And so the states are going to be like, okay, bright red states, bright blue states. I'm this is just petty far right garbage that led to the Supreme Court possibly ruling to end fundamental women's rights. If you're going to be petty, we're going to be petty. Only, yeah. Lucky Girl says, I saw a clip of her talking about it on The View. Oh, interesting. Good. Here's our saying, is it champagne pink? I don't know. It's got just a tiny bit of purple in it. Not much. Just a hint. So, thank you, Kim. Six of carrying your weapons across state lines. Underground gun trade. Oh boy. Is there something about the 20s that just 1920s, 2020s, where it's like, it's almost like prohibition in that you start getting smugglers because you can't have guns in some places, and you can't, but also helping women cross state lines, and basically it's just crossing state lines to do this, and this. Crossing state lines to do this, and this. The days of, does it really matter what state you live in? I mean, there was a time, believe it or not, when it made a difference what state you lived in, but it wasn't like in your face between, one state and, this state here, this random state here, this random state there. They had their own flavor, maybe their own kind of climate issues, but it wasn't like, I mean, the weirdest thing I ever ran across, I had to deal with was not that big a deal. In Louisiana, they don't have counties; they have parishes. They don't use the same kind of law that is used in other states. They're still on the Napoleonic Code, and so that's a little weird, but hardly the end of the world. Judgment. Queen of Pentacles, Temperance, Nine of Pentacles, blue states, red states, blue states, red states, blue states, red states. Yes. Yeah, I think she's very, very much interested in doing that and more. I think there are a number of left-leaning state politicians of whatever at whatever level who they're going to come up with all kinds of stuff you've never heard of, you've never even thought of. This opened a can of worms like Chris Wicken says the illegal guns here in Canada come from the US, so I really wish that your gun laws were stricter. Well, there's also, and true, Maria Rodriguez, prohibition and alcohol didn't help. That's true. There's an argument out there. I'm not saying I have the answer. I do not have the answer. But I have heard it said that the way that, those of you who don't know, the way Chicago is sitting. Oh, here's a piece of paper. Let's use this piece of paper. And where's the closest? Closest sharp you have is blue. So we're doing blue. All right, this is roughly when my nephews were small, especially the oldest nephew. Am I spelling that? My brain is so scattered. It doesn't look right. I know it's right, but it doesn't look right. Yes, that's right. Yes, that's right. Full moon in Gemini. Just emotional all through communication. It's a mess. But anyway. Lake Michigan. Here is that's Chicago. Suburbs. I can't spell anything today. And here is Gary, Indiana. And up here's Michigan. And up here is Wisconsin. All right, so those of you from other parts of the world or who are not as familiar, basically, you've got Lake Michigan. This is the bottom of Lake Michigan right here. And you've got Chicago on this side of it, the suburbs out here, state of Wisconsin's, bottom of state of Wisconsin's there. Okay. Now, there's notoriously been gun violence on the south side of Chicago. Well, there's an argument that it's because Indiana's right here. And Mike Pence is from Indiana. There's a lot of republicanism in Indiana. Michigan, bottom of Michigan's here. So there's an argument that the guns that end up in Chicago are actually coming through Indiana, or coming from Indiana. So for what it's worth, I don't have all the answers, but that's one of the arguments. So just because there are laws in different states doesn't mean that the problems stay out or stay in or whatever. So, okay. All right, let me shuffle here for a second. 3530. Just want to make a random comment here. The full moon tonight is at 10:35 p.m. Central Time in the U.S., Chicago time, and it is in Gemini. It's late. It's like 27 degrees of Gemini, and there are only 30 degrees in each sign, so it's really up near the end of Gemini. And full moons, just be careful, please, because think of what the moon does to the oceans, up and down, and all of this. So imagine what it's doing to us. Okay, so just be extra safe tonight. Don't take risks. Don't take risks, and don't take risks around other people, please, as much as you can. Just stay safe. So there is that. It also means that this full moon is happening in my first house, that first wedge, which is how you show yourself to the world. Your ascendant in your first house is yourself, how you show yourself to the world. So I am definitely feeling emotional today. It's not on my ascendant. My ascendant is much earlier in Gemini, but yeah, it's definitely hitting me. And sometimes I read through the comments, but I can't hit the heart button because I'm not in the right. Like if I'm looking on my phone, I'm not in the right account. I'm in my personal account. So I just go in and I just start hitting the like button. And there were a couple of things. Actually, I should make a note of this at like 36:30. I started talking about this, I think, something like that. Miscellaneous. Okay, so the full moon tonight, as is the patron tarot socials tonight from 8 to 10. Another thing from the comments. One is I apologize. I need to make, you have taught me I need to be clearer. And thank you for that. When I talk about different signs, I'll talk about when they're good, they're like this. When they go bad, it's really ugly. Well, I should have been talking that way when I start talking about generations, specifically Pluto and Leo, and Pluto and Leo, Pluto and Virgo, because there were people saying that in the chat were saying that I have a bias against baby boomers. I don't. I've not been saying it right. I've made it sound like they're all, they all grew up to be, Reaganites, which is not true. I do not mean that, and I never mean that. So I personally, in my family, I have family members who were born in the 40s. So I have a tendency to just talk about them or have them in mind when I'm talking about it. But I know there are others. So I want to apologize, and that I will endeavor to be more clear about that, because obviously you don't have whole generations that are just one thing. No. So I apologize. So Maria Rodriguez saying I'm a baby boomer and a progressive. When baby boomers, when they're good, they're awesome. They are benevolent kings and queens. They are, they're strong, and they're not, there's an aura of natural leadership there, and it's great stuff. when it goes good. So anyway, and then the final thing is just a general, people who are so kind, and I want to thank everybody for that. I'm also feeling, maybe it's because of the full moon, I'm feeling a little emotional, so it kind of hit. It shouldn't. Normally, I just ignore negative comments, but I just want to say to whomever it was who said, you should have singing lessons. That's just kind of mean. So I do my best. So anyway. All right. Kitty Connell saying I'm a boomer and I am more progressive than 95% of the Democratic Party. I understand. Thank you, Pam Bryant. Thank you. Frida Smith says, I'm a 1956er and proud to still be a progressive. Awesome. Okay. And Dawn says, I think you're balanced and clear. Any folk that say different may not have seen enough of your post to form a full opinion. You apologize quickly, which is both moot and sweet. Thank you. Dave says, I knew what you meant, Autumn. You are the least offensive person I know. Thank you, Dave. I was saying nice things about you this morning. Yep, Jill Otero says, where do you think Roe versus Wade came from? Boomers. Yep. Thank you, Scott Conwell. Thank you, guys. All right. So at 42 minutes, Kristen, who brings us the great headlines, just asked for a general reading on December 19th through the 25th. So just thank you, guys. Yeah, you guys. Yeah. Labrat says I'm a 1948 progressive. Good. Good. Thank you, guys. All right. 40, well, it's actually 43 now. Oh, I thought you were saying something to me about make sure your mom sees the something about a Michelle Obama movie or something, and I'm just like, Mom? Thank you, guys. Thank you, Barbara. Okay. Let me get my skates on here. And she would like a full Celtic on December 19th from basically now until Christmas. So this week. Thank you, Jean Dorsey. Thank you, Carmela. All right. Have I bored you with my last? Oh my gosh, Karen Lloyd, thank you. Goodness, thank you. Apparently not only the negative stuff is landing hard today emotionally, the good stuff is too. Thank you. Thank you. Nice. Have I bored you guys with my George Michael Last Christmas story? I know I told it over on I told it last night on Johnny's channel, and I know I've told it on Book Art Media, but I don't think I've told it here. But let me know. Let me know if you want to hear my silly last Christmas story. 8 of Pentacles. Well, working. All the elves. Feels like all the elves working. Sandy Miller, do it. Oh, good, good, good. Oh my gosh, I was supposed to do an overloaded Celtic. She asked, and she has given so much to the channel and helped so much. Let me do this again. Labrat says, do what makes you happy. Sandy Miller says yes. Okay. So as I'm shuffling and putting cards out, basically, in the UK, there is something called Whamageddon. Whamageddon? Apparently, you lose Whamageddon if you're the first person to hear George Michael's Last Christmas. If you think it's big here, it's massive in the UK. George Michael having been English, you know. So, I was talking to Sarah, and I said, so I was talking about Last Christmas, the George Michael song, and she's like, no, don't say anything, don't play it, don't anything. I don't want to lose Whamageddon. Like, what's Whamageddon? First person who hears it, you have to avoid it. And the first one who hears it, you lose Whamageddon. And then not an hour later, her husband texted her and said, I just lost Whamageddon. It's okay. But my point, because I seek it out. I'm a huge George Michael fan. My gosh, that man's voice. Wow. And if you sit down and you really listen to the lyrics of Last Christmas, number one, it's a little bit whiny. I mean, kind of. It just kind of is. And that's a lot of emotion to have poured into a one-day relationship. And I understand. Adrian pointed out last night, there is the end of the chorus where it's, well, this year, to save myself from tears, I'll give it to someone. I'll give it to someone else. It's like, yeah, but the whole song, and do we really believe him? Is he just like, well, I'll find someone else? Or does he actually like mean it? That's a lot. But mostly, the more importantly, she's not worth that song. That woman is not worth those high notes at the end. She's not worth the whole song. She's trifling. She's not worth the whole song. Save your high notes for somebody else. And don't pour all your emotions into one day. A one-day relationship. It's not worth it. But God bless you, George Michael. So next time you hear Last Christmas, you can think of that. And when you hear it, you have officially lost Whamageddon. Thank you, guys. Lisa Bennett, wasn't he gay? So the guy wasn't worth it? He was actually bi. I'm not going to sing it. Thank you, though. He was actually bi. He said that he was actually, he said emotionally I'm gay, physically I'm bi. But you have to understand that about the time he was coming out, was the AIDS epidemic was in full inferno. And there was a lot of grief being given to bisexuals, especially bisexual men. This idea that they were passing it on to women or blah, 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 blah. And it's not right and it's not fair, but that's what was going on. So I think from what he actually said and then the pressure he was under, my impression is that he was mostly gay, but it's a spectrum. He was with apparently plenty of women, and perfectly happy with that. So Maria Rodriguez says, gay and bi and gorgeous. Yes, that he was. Pamela Bryant saying he was gorgeous physically and in his heart and soul as well. And Does Rat saying George was always looking for validation? Well, his son, just talking about George Michael here, his son was in his 12th house. So he was I think his sun and his moon were in his 12th house, if I remember correctly. But he was a very private person. And people who tend to have that, and that they have major things in the 12th house, they tend to keep some real privacy. So he would go out and he would do his things, job, whatever. But there was a part of him he just kept really close. And he did a lot of charity work nobody knew about. There was a couple that was just on TV one night in the UK and came up, and they had burned through all of their savings and everything with IVF treatments and trying to have a child, and they were out of money, and so he just called up and made a donation, said, it was a lot of money here, and consequently they had a child because of him. And nobody knew that until after he died. He wasn't all bad. So anyway. All right. Oh, yeah, Cat Shepard. His singing Somebody to Love, the Freddie Mercury Memorial Concert. Yeah. Well, the band themselves said he was the only singer who came in, didn't need a key change, didn't need anything. They just let him rip. And if I remember correctly, if you think that was great, there's a video out there of the rehearsal. So George, they're in this like warehouse. It looks like an empty hangar or warehouse or something. But the band, Queen is there, and George Michael singing Somebody to Love. And there are various people milling around. One of them is David Bowie, who is standing there watching. Just looks really impressed. So that's on YouTube somewhere too. All right. I'll get back down into the mucky politics stuff. All right, 53. Oh, this isn't okay. After I spend 10 minutes talking about boomers and George. So this week. Actually, those of you who have been incredibly patient and kind to me in the Mysterious In series, In Time, and the stuff I'm working on, I've had notes on this thing for so long that actually Nick does not look like George Michael in my head. He doesn't, but I made Nick's family Greek because I was creating the story and I was making the first notes about it and creating characters at the end of 2016 when George Michael died. And sort of in his honor, silly as it is, I made that successful family Greek. Silly, but that's it. I picture somebody else, but the Yorgos and Stefan Yorgos and their father Zeus, and Five of Cups. Kind of a mixed bag. Christmas is going to be kind of a mixed bag, and I didn't do it. Okay, I'm sorry, Kristen. Apparently, I keep jibber jabbing and I'm all over the place, and I'm incapable of doing an actual Celtic. So we're just going to look at these cards. I'm sorry. I'm a mess today. I'm a mess. All right. It's going to be a mixed bag. it's gonna be a nice Christmas. But 3 of Wands, 10 of Swords, Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, Page of Wands. I think most of us end up spending more money around this time of year. There's also, plenty of emotion. But it's been a hard year. It's been a hard couple of years, but it's getting slowly better. It really is. I know there are wait lines to get tested for Omicron. I know there are things are tough, but this is kind of a little bit of a new start. Just a little bit. These are both aces. It's, yes, we spend a lot of money, and yes, it's very emotional, but it's also a new start. And this is a page. This is the messenger. Some of it's we still need to purge the insurrectionists, the far right, but it's also communication. I feel a feeling of desolation, but reaching out to other people. This is also just a messenger, sending a card, having a kind word, thanking people. Yeah. So it's this week. It's going to be kind of a mixed bag, but that's okay. Really, that's okay. So that's what I'm getting. So Uncover the News says, so Governor Gavin Newsom turns on criminals with $300 million smash and grab proposal. I bet that's quite the link. I can't imagine what they mean by that. Okay. So at 57:30, let's look at June Hill's question. How long will the GOP National Committee pay Trump's private legal fees? Yeah. Did you guys see Rachel last night? I saw her tomorrow. Hang on. Read a note. 58. So I watch. Sometimes I catch it live. Sometimes I catch Rachel live. Sometimes I do watch a lot of CNN and MSNBC actually on YouTube. So if, a few hours after things air, they'll put shorter versions of it up, and I'm on those channels a lot. Just flipping through, seeing what's helpful, what I could share with you, that kind of stuff. But last night she was talking about the GOP paying for, it's like $1.5 million or something crazy of Trump's private legal fees for his time in his business. It's not when he was it wasn't when he was a candidate. It wasn't when he was a president. He's not a nominee. He's supposed to be a billionaire. Six of Cups. The Democratic National Committee can actually spend money on their candidates, but the GOP is spending their money on greed. Which of the 7 deadly sins? Like, okay, we're dealing with Trump. Which of the 7 deadly sins are we dealing with? Greed. Yeah, and you're paying for it. Good luck with that. Oh, lots of money. And I mean lots of money. As in Republicans saying, why should I donate to you? Wheel of Fortune. 10 of Swords, 6 of Pentacles, Sun. Right now it's a lot. That amount will dwindle as Karma reports to wherever Trump is. Karma, please report to wherever Donald Trump is. Karma, please report to wherever Donald Trump is. Thank you. It's right here. It will dwindle. And there's so much that's going to come to light. Oh my Gideon. Dear great Gussie. Sandy Miller says, what does Trump have on people high up in the GOP? They don't just necessarily have to have anything over them. It's just they're part of the cult. They're afraid of. They're in an abusive relationship. You know, you don't make him angry. Don't make him angry. Whatever you do, don't make him angry. Placate him. Placate him. So he does what he wants. But whew, I keep getting he's gonna lose Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, they're part of the cult, but there's major law enforcement coming for Trump. And I know I keep saying that, but boy, is it right there. Joanne says they're afraid of his followers. Yeah. Yeah. That too. Yeah. So. Oh boy. One, 102 30. 102 30. Friday on Joy Reid, Glenn Kirschner made a compelling case about why Jim Jordan was a traitor to the Constitution and may have committed a serious crime. Per Kirschner, Jordan's text urging Meadows to tell Pence to toss electors came after Barr and Krebs each said there was no fraud. So, Jim Jordan, there's, will you be charged criminally? Chris Wickens has a quote from Mary Trump that if Trump could benefit financially from your death, he would make it happen, then forget that you died. Narcissism is an ugly thing. And a narcissist who has been rewarded for his narcissism all of his life, uncontrolled narcissism, raging narcissism is brutal. As I've been, washing my dishes in the evenings, I've been watching episodes of Hoarders on the A&E YouTube channel. I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube while I'm cleaning. It's why I look forward to cleaning. Get to watch stuff. And watching some of these kids with their parents and realizing that yes, some of them, if you're a hoarder, basically you're not wanting to feel most of the time. There are a lot of feelings you don't want to feel. There's usually a staggering tragedy or tragedies that make it worse, much worse. You may have kind of leaned in that direction in the first place, but There's usually some massive tragedy. And there's usually a major theme of avoidance in the family as well. Not always, but most of the time. But some of these young adults who grew up with a parent who hoards, and now is trying to clean things out and is saying, you're choosing this stuff over me. I can understand where they're coming from. Because that's what it feels like. The reality is the person's choosing their walls, their emotional walls. They're too afraid. And they just may not be able to give the kids what they need or what they want. And it is so sad to have to say to some of these young adults who grew up in this, and they want an apology from their parent, and they want a lot from them. They want an emotional connection. They want to have a normal life with their parents, come for the holidays and bring the grandkids and all this kind of stuff. And some people, you have to accept you're never going to get from that person what you want. It's heartbreaking. And that's Trump. He can't be a better father. He can't. He has wounds going all the way back to his childhood. And he was rewarded for his father encouraged him to be a narcissist, encouraged his narcissism, and reinforced it. His entitlement reinforced it. His affluenza reinforced it. And so when Mary Trump says, if Trump could benefit financially from your death and he would make it happen, forget that you died, I believe that. I believe that. So, okay, 107:30. All right, and so is Jim Jordan going to face criminal charges? Sorry. Is Jim Jordan going to face criminal charges? Jim Jordan. Come back. You got 2 cards for the second card. Three of Swords. Okay, well, you tried to bring down the democracy, Jim Jordan. I have 0. I mean, I tend to be a pretty empathetic, emotional little thing, but Jim Jordan. 8 of Swords. Ace of Pentacles. I'll come back to this. Empress, that's America. King of Cups. Biden was president. Biden was becoming president. Trump dynasty. Your name's going to be mud in history. Absolute mud. This, I hate to say it, this right here, this and this, there's a wrestling quality to this card. And not pay attention, not ignore, entertainment only, but I get ignore it, not my problem, They did it. They must have, like with women who are attacked or hurt, assaulted. Oh, she must have been wearing a short skirt. That's his mindset, and that has not changed. He hasn't learned. He hasn't grown. And he saw a way to try to get power and keep it. This is not caring about other people. Not at all. See here. Jim Jordan, 3 cards. You don't deserve more than that. So are you going to get criminally charged? Temperance. Insult to injury. Far right victory. Not for a while. That's what I'm getting. Not for a while. I got these cards and those words. Eventually. Things are coming into being. The energy is just forming. Okay. Jordan eventually, over time. Are you going to be criminally charged? And definitely threw the spaghetti at the wall to see, the rancid spaghetti at the wall to see what would stick. Son, 8 of Wands, 2 of Swords. There's something there. There's something there, but it's not. I so prefer when I can say one way or the other. I mean, and I could be wrong, but quite often I just get definitive answers one way or the other. I'm getting a not right now. The energy is coalescing. It's just coming into being. A lot of this, what's going to happen, is just coming into being energetically, and there's a hint of it, but very strange. That's what I'm getting. No, it doesn't seem very helpful, but all I can tell you is what I'm getting. Jim Jordan. Come on. Come on. This would be a big deal. Jim Jordan was criminally charged, and certainly if Jim Jordan was put in prison, this would be a big deal in history. There were a lot of them. There were a lot of them. There were a lot more of them than you think. And they'll be on the defensive. They'll be out of office. Big. This is higher octave of the Knight of Swords, so which is aggressive law enforcement. This is big, showy. Can be legislators, law enforcement, and he's very small, like that. So it doesn't look good for him. All right, 11430. Oh. Right, from white supremacy to anti-Semitic rhetoric. Oh my gosh. There's no bottom. There's no, well, technically there's a lot of bottom, but I can't really say much about that. Did you guys hear what Trump talking about Jewish people? I'm not going to repeat any of it. That's just, oh my gosh. So is there going to be a blowback because Trump said what he said about Jewish people? He's going to be on the defensive. Let's put it this way. There's something I heard many years ago, and it was talking about religion, but I also think it has to do, it's also appropriate here with a cult leader. You know you have made God in your own image when he hates the same people you do. Oh, they're just going to carry on, but there are definitely some people who've had enough. And yes, this will hurt him. But what's really going to hurt him is all this stuff that's about to come out. It's all over the cards. It is all over the cards. How many times can we get the chariot card in one day? You know? It is going to hurt him. Man. Alicia Marie says, Hitler's nightmare continues. Good. If Hitler didn't like it, it's probably a lovely thing. Good grief. Holly in France, you mean his daughter, son-in-law, and grandchildren? Mm-hmm. Thank you, Maria. Yeah, that has stuck with me over the years. All right, 1:17:30. Ugh. Elaine. So, the prosecution has rested. And what's the mindset of her lawyers? She was supposed to have 30 plus witnesses, but only a few testified. Has the prosecution rested or has the defense rested? Oh, I'm glad, Danielle. I'm glad. Which is it? Both sides? One side? Is Ghislaine Maxwell going to be convicted? That's what it comes down to. Chris Wickens is saying he's going down, but I'm getting impatient. I understand that, but don't forget, Jupiter's going into Pisces finally on the 28th. And so after that, so going into 2022, things much will come out. One. Ghislaine Maxwell. Are you going to be convicted? I can never unsee her rubbing Epstein's feet with her tracts of land. Please no. Whoops. Card for the reading. You're going to prison. That's up the river. You're done. The card that fell. She might still be hoping for something from somebody, someone in power to help her. Because you have to remember, Epstein was convicted in Florida, but then he got this sweetheart deal where he was at the office like 12 hours a day, 5 days a week. And once he was at the office, he could do whatever he wanted. He was having like girls brought to him. Anyway, Ghislaine, Justice, Moon, Five of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles. Oh, it's lovely. Well, it's lovely. She's going to prison. And the poor little rich girl is going to be poor. This is the victims. The victims, at least some of the victims, finding some peace from this. And eventually, Ghislaine gets her feet underneath her. She's also going to have to pay out more to victims, but she'll get her feet underneath her, but she's much diminished and absolutely hated. Yeah. You are going to prison, and you're going to stay there. And from what I've seen, entertainment only, I don't know. I'm just reading on the collective energy, but from what I've seen in the cards, you are going to prison, possibly for the rest of your life, but a really long time, and you are not going to like it, and you deserve it. But we'll see what since I want real courtroom justice, actual justice, official justice. I'd like to see what the jury says. I do think she's being treated harder than possibly Epstein would have been, because she's a woman. That doesn't mean she should be treated nicer. All right. 122. Janelle had a question. Were Boebert and Greene working directly with Trump to overturn the election? Okay, because like Colbert talking about the 6 insurrectionist types, members, whatever, the other day, he didn't include any women. So were Boebert and Greene, I'll do 3 cards for Boebert, 3 cards for Greene. Were they working directly with Trump to try to overturn the election? They were both being used, I can tell you that, but they loved it. Still do. Boebert, traitor Greene. Were you working directly with Trump? Boebert. Greene, were you working directly with Trump? Seven of Pentacles, fruits of labor. They were 2 of a bunch of people who were all there. This was not just 5, 6 people. No. There was a network, handful of people here, handful of people there, in different parts of the government. Some of the voters put in place, some Trump put in place, or Trump's people put in place. So, Boebert, were you working directly with Trump? Yeah, you're to him, you're a nobody. You probably still are. Page of Pentacles. Oh, look, I get money and attention. Yeah, it's not going to end well for you. Should do anything. This gave her power, importance, people listening to her, possibility of making a lot of money, getting herself out of her financial problems, being part of history. You picked the wrong side. Traitor Greene. Oh boy. Yeah, more, yeah, much more, yeah. High Priestess, Tower, 8 of Swords. Secrets to try to bring down the democracy in our country, and she's going to be legally hemmed in. They're both going to be in trouble. Were they working directly with Trump? Yes and no. You didn't always have to work directly with Trump, because Trump would sometimes use intermediates. But they're right there together. There's no space between them. What they were trying to do. Chris Wickens doesn't like donuts. Okay. Linda McMurtry, did you see the meme showing Boebert erasing her messages on her phone with whiteout? I did know that Mike Nesbitt's mother invented liquid paper. I did know that. Oh, thank you, Jeanette. All right, 126. Maria had a question. And I like the wording. Hello, everybody. Blessings. Sweet autumn. How come DOJ's Merrick is so afraid to prosecute the orange pooppants Trump scum? Nice. Merrick Garland. First Attorney General who I can think of who so desperately needs a PR person. You need to learn how to let people know in certain ways what you're doing or how things are going, where things are going. You don't have to talk about ongoing cases, but you could come out and say, we are aggressively going after people who have broken the laws. You could come out and say, it would actually, yes, you'd have people saying, well, but who, but what have you? But if you were just coming out and making it very clear, you're not messing around. You're not going easy on anybody. It would help. But, all right, Merrick Garland. Bell Bird says, I used to babysit for Davy Jones? Really? His kids? Or him? All right, let me know, please. Six of Cups. There's a lot going on. It's very busy. Very busy at the DOJ. Very busy. 8 of Wands, Queen of Cups, Page of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, Sun. He cares more about the law than he cares about any individuals. And you'd think, well, then why isn't he legally, burying Trump under a mountain of subpoenas and indictments and whatnot, considering everything he did? And yeah, you're part of Biden's DOJ, and things will come to light. He is very heavily going after. He's making sure his office is going after white supremacists. Good, but he doesn't. He's focused on the law and how it will be applied in the future, not as much what a threat Trump actually is now. I know some of you you really like the guy. I'm totally good with that. He's not my favorite, but that's okay. Doesn't have to be. And no one says I'm right. So all right, 130. Gub has a question. I hadn't thought about this guy in ages. Did I miss it? No. But I'm grateful for the question, Dawn. Rick Perry. Remember Rick Perry? Secretary of Energy or something. The basic bag of rocks from Texas who discovered that if he wore glasses, he looked physically more intelligent for some reason, just the way they sat and the way the shape and his everything, and it made him look much more debonair and yeah, but he's still a bag of rocks and dumb as. So Rick Perry, seriously, he starts talking and I just want to beat my head against a solid object. Just Rick Perry sent the "Here's what to do to make Trump win" memo before the votes were counted. Any ramifications? What's going to happen to Rick Perry? Chris Wicken says Rick Perry wasn't he involved in the Kiev thing? Probably. Yes, Gina. Yes, until he opened his mouth. Yes. Rick Perry, come on down. You are the latest scumbag. Rick Perry. King of Pentacles. Oh, Mr. Moneybags. Good for you. 9 of Cups. King of Swords. Judgment. Yeah, this is a committee or a panel. That's a lawmaker or a prosecutor, and that's judgment, which is always election. It's always my election day card, but it's also just facing judgment for the things he's done. But he thinks he's set. Joanne Mara is saying he used to hate 45. Well, didn't they all? But I hear what you're saying. If I sound annoyed, it's never at you guys. It's at them. Hey, Mandy, I'm back. Tour's finished. Good. See, Torino says I can hear the rocks tumbling down the hill. Polly Wanda asks, are the little fish going to jail while the big fish are slipping away? Maybe we should read that on that tomorrow. I don't have time to grab the question, though. But you've got a good point. Would you mind asking maybe tomorrow or next time you're on? I'd appreciate it. Thank you, Polly Wanda. Justice card. Oh yeah, his corrupt action, theft. Yeah, Rick Perry's got some explaining to do. Yeah, there's not good energy waiting for him. No. Linda Johnson says they all did a lot of insider trading. Yes. Uncover the news. So who had Rick Perry as the #1 traitor to the U.S. Democratic Republic on their bingo card? Is he, though, #1? I would have thought that would be Trump. He's just a knight. He's not a. But anyway. But yes, Rick Perry wasn't even on my bingo card at this point. I had just completely forgotten about him. But that is good, Kristen. Thank you. And thank you for everything you do. Really appreciate it. That's true. Maria Rodriguez makes a very good point. So long as Garland is methodical about gathering evidence and witnesses, crossing his T's, dotting his I's before pressing charges against cult members, I can wait another month or two to get justice for us. If it is just another month or two, I am totally in with you. Totally. You make a very good point. All right. 135. Hippie Sue had a question. Is Barr being investigated by Garland? Is Barr being investigated by Garland? And can someone please tell me where the Mueller report is? Rhonda Cox says Biden needs an AG who's a cross of a Rottweiler, Pit Bull, and German Shepherd, and Glenn Kirschner and Albright all put together. That would be something to behold. Barr. I'm finished shuffling. 130, 630. Is Barr being investigated by Garland? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Ethics, lawyers, DOJ policy violations, just all around scumbaggery. Kristen saying CNN exclusive, January 6 investigators believe a November 4th text pushing strategy to undermine the election came from Rick Perry. Yeah, I wonder where he got it from, because I don't believe for a minute he thought of it. But thank you, Kristen. Thank you. Have a great day, Disrat. Justice. DOJ. All right. 10 of Wands. 8 of Pentacles. 9 of Cups. Queen of Wands. Ace of Swords. I actually think some of this he would like to see what the January 6th committee comes up with. I mean, I don't think it's going to be, that's certainly not all he's going to do. But some of it feels like they're getting some information that he's had trouble getting, maybe on some of these issues. Barr. The committee isn't looking at Barr. At least not much. He left. He got fed up. He left at the end of December. Is Merrick Garland investigating Bill Barr? All of the things Barr did for Trump, all of the work he did for Trump. This is some kind of committee or panel or grand jury. This is something like that. And the people who were politically married to Trump, but bring in that big old sword of truth. Wonder if this is like a secret. What do you call it? The judge who can sign off on secret, not subpoenas, warrants, or whatnot. So Merrick Garland, what are you going to do with your predecessor? Would this be the first attorney general who, in the U.S., who charged his predecessor? Yes. Linda McMurtry saying, I think Barr left because he knew about the January 6th plot. Why didn't he warn us? Exactly. I think that is exactly what happened. And he didn't warn us. FISA warrants. Thank you, Jess. Thank you. You guys really helped me. On the defensive, 7 of Wands. Magician. Oh, this is unilateral action taken by Barr. Oh, there's a new sheriff in town. And again, sort of truth against everything it tried to do. Yep. Garland definitely, in the DOJ, Garland definitely has people investigating Barr. Yes, that's what I'm getting. All right. Well, those are my actually 12 or 13 questions for today. Thank you so much for being here. It is 1:57 p.m. here in Chicago in 2 hours. At 4 p.m., I will be over at Book Art Media for the daily creative sprints. Do bring your creative projects, anything. And we'll just encourage you between these 25-minute blocks where we each work on our individual projects. And then tonight from 8 to 10 p.m., it's the patron-only social. It's once a month, 2 hours. You've got me. You've got my cards. We usually end up talking about spirituality and historical figures. And we talk about all kinds of stuff. It's actually rarely politics. But that's this evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Chicago time. And then I will be right back here tomorrow at noon, because I am here every day at noon, or yes, as soon after as I can get here. Pull it all together is really what it is. But I'm here 365 days of the year. All right? Have a wonderful rest of your day. You are not alone. Don't forget that. Don't forget that there is a full moon tonight at 10:35 Central Time, 11:35 Eastern Time in the U.S. Please be careful. Full moon in Gemini, late Gemini, and I'm feeling it. So hang in there. All right, just be safe. Don't take any risks this evening. Okay, don't take risks tonight. And yeah, there are good days ahead. All right, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow.